Once upon a time, in a city, St. Mary's Girls' College was known for its strict discipline and academic excellence, nestled in the bustling heart of Lagos. Its brick walls and ivy-covered archways held many secrets, but none as chilling as the tale of the Ogbanj girls. Ogbanj, in the local Igbo folklore, were believed to be spirits of children who died and were reborn repeatedly, bringing torment to their families. At St. Mary's, this term had taken on a more sinister, yet modern connotation. It referred to three girls, Adis, Kayameka, and Ifenanya. Beautiful, intelligent, and seemingly charming, they were the school's most notorious bullies. The trio roamed the school grounds with an aura of untouchable authority. Adis, the leader, was tall and commanding with piercing eyes that seemed to see into your soul. Kayameka, with her quick wit and sharper tongue, was the strategist, always 2 steps ahead. Ifenanya, the quietest of the three, was the enforcer, her silence more terrifying than any threat. Amora stepped through the gates of St. Mary's on a humid morning, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had heard rumors about the Ogbanj girls, but they seemed like ghost stories, unreal and distant. As a transfer student from a smaller town, she was eager to fit in and make friends, unaware of the dark cloud that loomed over her new school. Amora's first week was a blur of new faces and strict schedules. She tried her best to stay out of trouble and focus on her studies. One afternoon, while walking back to her dormitory, she stumbled upon Adis, Kayameka, and Ifenanya lounging under a large mango tree. They were surrounded by a small group of sycophants, laughing and chatting animatedly. "Hey, new girl." Adis' voice rang out, stopping Amora in her tracks. "Come here." Amora approached hesitantly, her heart racing. "Yes. We've noticed you," Kayameka said, eyeing her up and down. "You seem different." Ifenanya smirked, but said nothing. "We like different," Adis continued, a sly smile playing on her lips. "What's your name?" "Amora." "Amora," Adis repeated, as if tasting the name. "You should join us for lunch tomorrow." It wasn't a request. Amora nodded, unsure of what she was getting into. The next day, Amora found herself sitting with the Ogbanj girls in the bustling dining hall. To her surprise, they were friendly, even charming. They asked about her old school, her family, her interests. For a moment, she felt a sense of belonging. But as the days passed, she saw the darker side of her new friends. They mocked other students, played cruel pranks, and wielded their influence like a weapon. Amora felt trapped, drawn to their power yet repelled by their cruelty. One evening, as they gathered in their secret spot behind the old chapel, Adis spoke. "Amora, we've decided. You're going to join us." Amora's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" "If you want to be one of us, you have to prove your loyalty," Kayameka explained. "There's a new girl in our class. Her name is Kemi. Tomorrow, you'll make her life miserable." Amora's stomach churned. "I don't want to hurt anyone." Adis' eyes hardened. "If you don't, you'll regret it." That night, Amora tossed and turned, unable to escape the growing sense of dread. Her dreams were haunted by the faces of Adis, Kayameka, and Ifenanya, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. She woke up in a cold sweat, feeling the oppressive weight of their presence even in the darkness of her room. The next day, she couldn't concentrate in class. The corridors seemed to close in on her, shadows creeping along the walls. At lunch, she saw Kemi sitting alone, looking lost and vulnerable. She took a deep breath and approached her. "Hi, Kemi. Can I sit with you?" Kemi looked up, surprised but relieved. "Sure." As they talked, Amora felt a pound of guilt. Kemi was sweet and shy, just like she had been on her first day. The idea of tormenting her was unbearable. After lunch, Amora made a decision. She couldn't go through with it. She went to find the Ogbanj girls. I can't do it, she said firmly. Adi's eyes narrowed. You dare defy us? I'm not like you, Amora replied, her voice shaking but resolute. I won't hurt innocent people. Kayamaka and Ifunanya exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. You've made your choice, Adi said coldly. You'll pay for it. The next few days were a nightmare. The Ogband girls made good on their threats, turning the entire school against Amora. Rumors spread, and she found herself isolated, bullied, and humiliated. But it was the nights that were the worst. In her dreams, the Ogband girls appeared, their faces twisted into demonic masks. They whispered her name, their voices echoing in the dark. She would wake up with scratches on her arms, as if their spectral hands had reached out from her dreams to torment her. One evening, Amora was studying alone in the library when the lights flickered. She looked up to see Adis, Kayamika, and Ifunanya standing at the entrance, their eyes glowing in the dim light. You should have listened, Adis hissed, her voice echoing unnaturally. Amora backed away, her heart pounding. What do you want? Your soul, Kayamika replied, her smile revealing sharp, inhuman teeth. The air grew cold, and the shadows seemed to move on their own. Amora felt a chill run down her spine as Ifunanya stepped forward, her eyes black as night. You belong to us now, Ifunanya whispered, her voice like a deathly wind. That night, Amora couldn't sleep. The darkness seemed alive, whispering threats and taunts. She felt a weight on her chest, as if invisible hands were pressing down on her. She couldn't breathe, couldn't move. The room was filled with the sound of sinister laughter, and she knew it was the Ogband girls. In the morning, she found strange symbols drawn on her walls in what looked like blood. Her reflection in the mirror seemed distorted, her eyes shadowed by a malevolent force. She knew she had to do something before it was too late. Amora sought out the school's chaplain, Father Is, a man known for his knowledge of the supernatural. He listened to her story with grave concern. The Ogband are real, he said. And they have marked you. But there is a way to break their hold. He handed her a small, worn book filled with prayers and rituals. You must confront them in the place where their power is strongest, the old chapel. But be warned, it will not be easy. That night, armed with the book and her resolve, Amora made her way to the old chapel. The air was thick with an oppressive darkness, and the temperature dropped as she approached. The chapel doors creaked open, revealing the Ogband girls standing at the altar, their eyes burning with a hellish fire. You cannot defeat us, Adi snarled. We are eternal. Amora stepped forward, her voice steady. I will not let you take me. She began to recite the prayers from the book, her voice growing stronger with each word. The Ogband girls screamed in rage, their forms twisting and contorting as the power of the prayers took hold. You will suffer for this. Kayamika howled, her skin blistering and peeling away. Ifunanya lunged at Amora, but an invisible barrier stopped her. This is not over, she screeched as her body disintegrated into ash. The chapel shook, the walls cracking as the dark energy was expelled. Adis was the last to fall, her face a mask of fury and pain. Remember us, she whispered, her voice fading into the darkness. The next morning, the sun shone brightly over St. Mary's, the oppressive darkness lifted. Amora stood at the gates, looking out at the bustling streets of Lagos. She had faced her fears and emerged victorious, but the memory of the Ogband girls would haunt her forever. St. Mary's would never forget the lessons learned during those terrifying times. And neither would Amora, who had discovered the true meaning of courage and friendship in the face of unimaginable horror. The end.